Picture yourself standing on a jagged cliff, the wind howling, the sky above a churning mass of black clouds. The storm descends without warning, waves crashing below, threatening to swallow you whole. Life's toughest challenges are like this tempest, unpredictable, relentless, and heavy with the weight of uncertainty. They strike when you least expect, tearing at the foundations of your world. You feel the cold spray of fear, the sting of doubt. How do you stand firm when everything around you trembles? How do you find light when darkness engulfs you? This is where we begin, in the heart of the storm, on a journey to uncover how to stay positive when life gets tough. You are not adrift without hope. There, on the horizon, stands a lighthouse, a beacon of resilience, a symbol of unyielding strength. It calls to you, promising that even in the fiercest gale, you can hold your ground. Let's step into this storm together and discover the power within you to endure, to rise, and to shine. Imagine this. It's a Monday morning, and you walk into your office, the hum of routine buzzing around you. You've poured years into this job, building a life brick by brick, paying bills, planning dreams, carving out stability. Then, without a tremor of warning, the ground beneath you cracks. Your manager calls you in, voice low, eyes avoiding yours. We're downsizing, they say. Today is your last day. The words hit like a tidal wave, dragging you under. Your chest tightens. Your mind races with questions. How will you pay rent? What about your family? What does this mean for your future? You're lost in a sea of uncertainty. No shore in sight. The weight of failure pressing down like an anchor. Days blur into weeks. You send out resumes, but the silence is deafening. Rejections pile up like driftwood on a forsaken beach. Friends offer kind words, but they feel hollow against the storm raging inside you. You question your worth, your skills, your very purpose. The temptation to give up looms like a shadow over the waves. But then, one night, as you sit staring at a blank screen, something shifts. You remember the lighthouse, your inner strength, your resolve. You realize this loss is not the end, but a jagged path to something new. You pause, you breathe, you decide to stand tall, to search for a new harbor. You rewrite your story, not as a victim of the storm, but as a sailor learning to navigate uncharted waters. And slowly, with each small step, updating your skills, networking, persisting, a flicker of hope emerges. The lesson is clear. Even when the waves threaten to drown you, the lighthouse of your resilience can guide you back to solid ground. This isn't just a story of loss. It's a mirror of your own battles. When life strips away what you thought was certain, it's easy to feel unmoored, but you have a choice. You can let the current pull you under, or you can swim, stroke by stroke, toward the light. The storm of job loss taught you that positivity isn't about ignoring the pain. It's about seeing beyond it. It's about trusting that every tempest passes, and on the other side, a stronger version of you awaits. Now I want to picture a different storm. It's late at night, and you're sitting in a sterile hospital waiting room, the fluorescent lights buzzing overhead. Hours ago, life was ordinary: dinner plans, laughter, the mundane comfort of routine. Then, a phone call shattered it all. A loved one, someone who is your rock, has been struck by a sudden health crisis. The diagnosis is unclear. The future a fog of fear and helplessness. Doctors speak in clipped tones, words like tests and uncertain, cutting deeper than any blade. Your family huddles together, hands clasped, hearts pounding. You feel powerless, a tiny boat tossed in a hurricane, unable to steer or save. The nights stretch endlessly. You wrestle with questions that have no answers. Why now? Why them? How will we cope? Fear thunders in your mind, drowning out hope. You imagine the worst, each thought a lightning strike splitting your resolve. But in one quiet moment, as you hold your loved one's hand, you see it. lighthouse. It's not a cure or a guarantee. It's the strength in your grip, the love in your presence, the decision to stand firm no matter the outcome. You choose to focus on what you can do. Be there. Listen, pray, research options. You rally your family, not with false promises, but with shared courage. And though the storm of this crisis rages on, you find a fragile but fierce positivity in the act of enduring together. The lesson shines through. Even in the darkest thunder, the lighthouse of connection and determination can pierce the gloom. This story echoes in all of us. Health crises, like any of life's brutal challenges, strip away illusions of control. They force you to confront raw, unfiltered emotion. Yet, in that vulnerability, you uncover a truth. Positivity isn't the absence of fear. It's the refusal to let fear steer your ship. You learn to anchor yourself in the present, in the small victories, a smile, a shared memory, a day of stability. The storm may not lift, but your light grows brighter within it. Let's step back and look at the storm itself. Life's toughest challenges are not mere obstacles. They are forces of nature, as inevitable as the tides, as fierce as a winter gale. They descend without mercy, tearing through your plans, your peace, your sense of self. They are the waves that threaten to capsize you, the winds that howl with doubt and despair. But what if you stop seeing the storm as your enemy? What if, instead, you saw it as a forge, a brutal, unrelenting fire that shapes you into something stronger? The lighthouse stands not to stop the storm, but to remind you that you can weather it. Its beam cuts through the chaos, whispering, "You are still here. You can still stand." Think about it. How many times have you faced a tempest and thought it would break you, only to emerge on the other side with scars that tell a story of survival? How often have you buried hope under the weight of despair, only to find it flickering still, waiting for you to fan its flame? The emotional impact of life's challenges is real. Grief, fear, uncertainty are heavy burdens. They bend you, twist you, test every fiber of your being, but they also reveal what you're made of, like a lighthouse built from stone, weathered by countless storms. Your resilience is not born in calm waters, but in the heart of the tempest. So, embrace the storm, let it rage, let it teach you, for in its fury, you will find the raw materials to rebuild, to rise, to illuminate even the darkest night. Consider the lighthouse as more than a symbol. It's a truth buried deep within you. When life gets tough, when the storm descends with all its wrath, you often look outward for rescue. You seek answers in others, in circumstances, in fleeting distractions. But the real beacon isn't out there. It's inside you. It's the quiet voice that says, "Keep going," even when your legs tremble. It's the spark of defiance that refuses to let the storm extinguish your will. You are the lighthouse and standing tall against the crashing waves. Your light a testament to your unyielding spirit. Have you ever paused to marvel at your own endurance? Have you counted the storms you've already survived, each one a brick in the tower of your strength? The emotional toll of hardship is a heavy fog, obscuring your vision, making you forget your own power. But the lighthouse within doesn't waver. It stands as a reminder that pain is temporary, that fear is a shadow cast by the storm, not the storm itself. You don't need to silence the wind or still the waves. You only need to hold your ground, to shine your light, to trust that dawn will come. Let the storm scream. Let it batter your walls. Your foundation is deeper than it knows. Your light is brighter than it can fathom. Stand firm and you'll see. The storm passes, but your strength remains. When the storm of life hits and emotions threaten to sweep you away, you need a map to steady your course. Here's a simple but powerful step to anchor yourself. Pause and name the wave. When fear, anger, or despair crashes over you, don't fight it blindly. Stop. Breathe. Ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? Label it: fear of the unknown, grief for what's lost, frustration at what's out of reach. Naming the emotion strips away some of its power. It turns a monstrous wave into a current you can navigate. Write it down if you must. Speak it aloud. This act of recognition is your first beam of light cutting through the storm. Then take one small action to counterbalance the weight. If fear grips you, reach out to someone who steadies you: a friend, a mentor, a family member. If despair clouds your mind, step outside. Let the air clear your thoughts, even for 5 minutes. If helplessness binds you, do one thing within your control. Organize a drawer, make a plan, take a single step toward a solution. These actions are not solutions to the storm, but they are proof that you're still steering your ship. They remind you that even in chaos, you have agency. Positivity isn't about ignoring the tempest. It's about building small shelters within it, moments of calm that sustain you until the skies clear. So when I start here, name the wave. Take one step. Watch how your inner lighthouse begins to glow. Another tool to stay positive when life gets tough is to build your beacon brick by brick, even in the storm's fury. This means creating a daily ritual of grounding yourself, a practice that keeps your light burning no matter the weather. Start with something simple. Each morning, write down one thing you're grateful for, even if it feels forced. It could be the warmth of your coffee, the sound of rain, the fact that you're still here to fight another day. This isn't about pretending everything is fine. It's about finding a single thread of light to hold on to when darkness looms. Next, set one small intention for the day. Something within your reach. It might be, I will make one phone call to ask for help, or I will take a walk to clear my mind. These tiny commitments are stones in your lighthouse, proof that you're not just surviving the storm but shaping your response to it. At day's end, reflect. Did you follow through? If not, why? If yes, how did it feel? This reflection isn't judgment. It's a way to see your own strength taking form. Over time, these rituals, gratitude, intention, reflection, become a tower of resilience. They teach you that positivity is not a gift bestowed by calm seas, but a structure you build, storm after storm. Start today. Pick one thread of light, lay one stone. Your beacon will grow taller than you imagine. As the storm descends, you've walked through the crashing waves of uncertainty and the thunder of fear. You've felt the raw, unrelenting force of life's toughest challenges. The job lost in an instant. The family crisis that shakes your core. You've seen their emotional impact, how they claw at your hope, how they test your spirit. But you've also discovered the lighthouse, your inner strength, your unyielding resolve. Through stories of struggle and survival, through reflections on the nature of hardship, and through practical steps to steady your course, you've learned a vital truth. The storm is not your end, it's your beginning. It's the forge where your resilience is hammered into shape, the dark sea where your light shines brightest. The key lesson is this: when life gets tough, positivity isn't about denying the storm. It's about standing tall within it, knowing you were built to endure. As we prepare to journey deeper into how to stay positive when life gets tough, hold this image close. The lighthouse standing firm, its beam piercing the night. Let it remind you that no storm lasts forever, and no wave can extinguish your fire. Carry this strength forward, for the next stretch of sea holds new lessons, new ways to illuminate even the fiercest tempest. Stand firm. Your light will guide you home. Picture yourself standing on a rugged cliff, the wind howling like a beast unleashed. It tears at your clothes, pushes against your every step, and threatens to hurl you into the abyss below. Life feels like this sometimes, doesn't it? A relentless storm that tests your roots, daring you to snap under the pressure. But look to the ancient tree on that same cliff. Its branches sway, bending low, almost kissing the ground, yet it does not break. It adapts, it endures. This is the heart of staying positive when life gets tough. Learning to bend, not break. In this storm of challenges, you are that tree. You can find strength in flexibility, in yielding without surrendering. Let's journey together into the art of resilience, where unbearable moments become the very winds that shape your unyielding spirit. This section, Bending, Not Breaking, dives deep into the raw struggle of holding on when life feels like it's tearing you apart. It's about discovering that true strength isn't in standing rigid against the gale, but in moving with it, finding your balance even as the ground shifts beneath you. You're not here to shatter under life's weight. You're here to learn how to sway, how to adapt, and how to rise again, stronger for the storm. Let's uncover this power within you. Imagine pouring your soul into a passion project, a novel, a business, a piece of art that burns inside you like a wildfire. You've spent months, maybe years, crafting it. Every late night, every sacrificed weekend, every ounce of doubt pushed aside. It's all for this dream, but the rejections pile up like fallen leaves. Publishers say no. Clients walk away. Your inbox echoes with silence. You stare at your work, that half-finished canvas of your heart, and the temptation to abandon it gnaws at you. Why keep going when every step forward feels like 2 steps back? You're ready to toss the brushes, to burn the pages, to let the dream die. This was the reality for Maya, a young writer whose manuscript had been rejected by 17 publishers. Each no felt like a brick added to a wall between her and her vision. She sat at her desk one stormy night, the rain tapping a mournful rhythm on her window, and considered giving up. Her fingers hovered over the delete key, ready to erase years of work, but something stopped her. She remembered her grandmother's words. "A tree doesn't fight the wind, it dances with it." Maya paused. She breathed. Instead of quitting, she decided to bend. She sought feedback, rewrote chapters, and adapted her approach. She sent out one more submission, then another. On the 19th try, a small press saw her potential. Today, her book sits on shelves, a testament to her refusal to break. What's the lesson here? Like a tree in fierce winds, you must learn to sway with the setbacks. Repeated failures aren't a sign to stop. They're a call to shift your stance. Maya didn't abandon her roots, her passion, but she adjusted her branches, her strategy. When life feels unbearable, don't snap under the weight of rejection. Bend, pivot, keep reaching for the light. This is how you stay positive when the storm rages, by trusting that every no is shaping you for the right yes. Now, picture yourself as a parent, the weight of the world balanced on your tired shoulders. You're juggling a demanding job, bills that seem to multiply overnight, and children who need your time, your love, your everything. Mornings start with a frantic rush, packing lunches, wiping tears, racing to beat the clock. Evenings end with exhaustion so deep it feels like your bones ache. You're stretched so thin you fear you'll tear. A forgotten school project, a late bill, a child's disappointed face. It's enough to make you wonder if you're failing at it all. The temptation to collapse under the pressure looms like a shadow. This was the daily battle for Jamal, a single father of 2 young girls. His days were a blur of daycare drop-offs, overtime shifts at the warehouse, and bedtime stories told through gritted teeth. One evening, after a particularly grueling day, he snapped at his eldest over a spilled glass of juice. The guilt hit him like a tidal wave. He felt like a tree about to splinter in a hurricane. But as he tucked his daughters into bed, he saw their small hands clinging to his, trusting him despite his flaws. He realized he couldn't break, not for them, not for himself. So where he bent, he started small, asking a neighbor for help with pickups, setting a stricter budget, carving out 10 minutes each night to breathe. Slowly, the storm felt less suffocating. He wasn't perfect, but he was still standing. What can you take from Jamal's story? When life's responsibilities threaten to uproot you, remember the tree in the wind. You don't need to be unyielding. You need to be adaptable. Bend by seeking support, by adjusting your load, by finding small pockets of calm in the chaos. Staying positive isn't about ignoring the weight, it's about learning to carry it differently. You're stronger than you think, even when you feel stretched to the limit. Let's step back and look deeper. What does it mean to bend, not break, when life feels unbearable? It's not about weakness or giving up. It's about understanding that rigidity can be your downfall. Think of the mighty oak that stands tall for centuries, yet in the fiercest storms, it's the young, supple sapling that survives by swaying. Strength isn't always in resistance. Sometimes it's in release. You've been taught to fight, to push, to stand your ground no matter the cost. But what if the cost is your spirit? What if the battle isn't meant to be won with fists but with flow? Consider the river that carves through stone. It doesn't smash the rock with brute force. It moves around it, over it, through it, shaping the unyielding with patience and persistence. So, too, must you learn to move with life's obstacles. When failure strikes, when responsibilities crush, don't brace for impact and risk shattering. Yield. Adapt. Let the wind of hardship pass through your branches without tearing you apart. Have you ever paused to ask yourself, what am I holding on to so tightly that it's breaking me? Could letting go of perfection, of control, of old ways, be the very thing that saves you? This is the essence of staying positive through tough times. Positivity isn't blind optimism. It's the quiet courage to bend when you must, to trust that the storm will pass, and to know that you'll still be rooted when it does. Like the tree, your flexibility is your power. Embrace it. Now let's turn inward. Why does life throw these unbearable winds at you? Why must you face failure after failure, burden after burden? It's easy to curse the storm, to shake your fist at the sky and demand an easier path. But what if the storm isn't your enemy? What if it's your sculptor, chiseling away at the rough edges of your soul to reveal the masterpiece within? A tree bent by fierce winds grows stronger at its core, its roots digging deeper for stability. So, too, do you grow through adversity? Think of every challenge as a gust shaping your branches. Each rejection, each sleepless night, each moment of doubt. They're not here to destroy you. They're here to refine you. The artist's manuscript wasn't rejected to mock her. It was a call to hone her craft. The parent's exhaustion wasn't a punishment. It was a lesson in resilience. What storms are shaping you right now? Are you resisting their lessons, or are you letting them mold you into something greater? Staying positive in tough times means seeing the wind not as a threat, but as a teacher. It means trusting that every bend, every sway, is building a version of you that can withstand anything. You are not breaking, you are becoming. Let the storm do its work. Stand tall but not rigid. Bend, and let your roots grow deeper still. So, how do you bend without breaking when life feels like it's tearing you apart? Start with small, deliberate shifts. When failure or overwhelm strikes, don't react in the heat of the moment. Pause, take a deep breath, count to 5 if you must, and let the initial wave of frustration or despair pass. Ask yourself, what can I adjust right now? Maybe it's rethinking your approach to a project, like Maya did with her writing. Maybe it's delegating a task. As Jamal learned to do, the key is to identify one small pivot that keeps you moving forward without snapping. Next, set boundaries to protect your core. If responsibilities are stretching you thin, say no to non-essential demands, even if it feels uncomfortable. Carve out 5 minutes a day to recharge. Close your eyes, listen to the wind, or simply sit in silence. These tiny acts of flexibility are like a tree adjusting its stance in a gale. They keep you rooted without exhausting your strength. Write down one thing each day that you've adapted to, no matter how small. Seeing your progress on paper reminds you that you're bending, not breaking. You've got this. One shift at a time, you'll weather any storm. Another tool to stay positive when life gets tough is to reframe how you see the wind itself. When setbacks or burdens hit, don't label them as failures or punishments. Instead, View them as signals to adapt. Take a moment to journal or think, what is this challenge teaching me? If a passion project stalls, ask, how can I approach this differently? If responsibilities overwhelm, consider, where can I find support or simplify? This shift in perspective turns the storm from a destructive force into a guiding one. Build a habit of gratitude amidst the chaos. Each night, name one thing the day's struggles taught you: patience, creativity, endurance. This isn't about ignoring pain, it's about finding purpose in it, like a tree that grows stronger after each gust. Let these lessons fortify you. When doubt creeps in, speak aloud. I am bending, not breaking. I am growing through this. Words have power. They anchor you. Use them to remind yourself that flexibility is your strength, and every storm is a chance to rise anew. As we close this chapter of bending, not breaking, reflect on the journey we've shared. You've seen how an artist like Maya turned rejection into triumph by adapting her craft, how a parent like Jamal found balance by yielding to his limits. You've pondered the deeper truth that life's fiercest winds are not here to shatter you, but to shape you. The key lesson is this: flexibility is your fortress. When life feels unbearable, staying positive means learning to sway with the storm, to adjust without abandoning your roots, to trust that every bend makes you stronger. You are the tree on that cliff, facing winds that howl and rage, but you will not break. You will bend, your branches dancing with the gale, your roots gripping deeper into the earth. As we move forward, carry this truth into the next storm, the next challenge. Let it prepare you for the battles ahead, where new lessons of positivity and resilience await. Remember, the storm is temporary, but your strength is eternal. Bend with the wind, your roots will hold. Picture a blacksmith's forge, the air thick with heat, the clang of hammer on steel echoing like a battle cry. You stand there, raw and unformed, a piece of iron in life's unrelenting hands. The flames roar, and the blows fall heavy. Hardship, rejection, pain. Do they break you? No, they shape you. In this crucible of struggle, you are not a victim. You are a warrior being forged into something unbreakable. Welcome to the heart of staying positive when life gets tough. This is not about ignoring the heat or pretending the hammer doesn't sting. It's about embracing hardship as the very tool that builds your resilience, your inner power. You are here in this moment to learn how to stand in the fire and emerge as steel, unyielding, sharp, and ready for anything. Let's step into the forge together. Let's craft an unbreakable will. Imagine yourself as a student, hunched over a desk in a dimly lit room, papers strewn like fallen leaves after a storm. You've poured your soul into applications, scholarships, programs, opportunities that promise to lift you toward your vision. Each submission is a seed planted with hope, but the replies come, one after another, cold and unfeeling. We regret to inform you, rejection stings like a hammer's blow, each one heavier than the last. You begin to question your worth. Are you enough? Will you ever be? The weight of doubt presses down, threatening to shatter you. You stare at the latest rejection letter, your hands trembling, wondering if it's time to give up. But pause. Feel the heat of this moment. Like iron in the blacksmith's forge, you are being tested, not destroyed. You crumple the letter, not in defeat, but in defiance. You decide to rewrite your story. You seek feedback, refine your work, and submit again, even as the fear of another no looms. Each rejection becomes a strike of the hammer, painful but purposeful, smoothing your rough edges. You realize that worth isn't handed to you in an acceptance letter. It's forged in your refusal to quit. Months later, an email arrives. Congratulations! The victory tastes sweeter because of the struggle. You've been tempered by hardship, and now you stand stronger, a blade honed by fire. The lesson is clear. Hardship doesn't define your value. It reveals it. You are steel, and no rejection can dull your edge. Now, see yourself as an athlete, once unstoppable, now sidelined by a brutal injury. Your knee buckles under you during a game, a sharp pain tearing through your body like lightning through a dark sky. The diagnosis is grim: torn ligaments, months of recovery, maybe a career in jeopardy. You lie in a sterile hospital bed, staring at the ceiling, feeling the weight of lost dreams. Every step is agony. Every physical therapy session a battle against your own body. Worse, your mind becomes a battlefield. Doubt creeps in, whispering that you'll never run again, never feel the rush of the field. Friends cheer you on, but their words feel hollow against the ache in your bones. You wonder if you've lost who you are. Yet, in this furnace of pain, you find your forge. You choose to see each grueling exercise as a hammer strike, each bead of sweat as proof of your resilience. You visualize the steel forming within you, unyielding and fierce. You push through the physical torment, but more importantly, you confront the mental storm. You write down small victories, standing without a crutch, taking a step, jogging a few yards. Each one is a spark, reigniting the fire in your soul. Months turn into a year, and one day, you lace up your shoes and step onto the track. The first run is slow, unsteady, but it's yours. You've returned, not as the athlete you were, but as something greater, steel forged in the hottest flames. The takeaway burns bright. Hardship is not your end, it's your making. You endure, you adapt, you rise. Step back for a moment and look into the flames of your own life. How often have you seen hardship as a curse, something to escape or resent? What if you've been wrong? Pain is not your enemy, it's your forge. Like the blacksmith who wields fire and force to transform raw iron into a weapon. Life uses struggle to shape your inner power. Every setback, every tear, every sleepless night is a strike that strengthens you, if you choose to stand in the heat. Think of the times you've fallen. How many of those scars now mark your greatest lessons? Hardship is not random, it's deliberate. It strips away the weak parts of you, leaving only what is unbreakable. Consider the steel within a sword. It doesn't emerge perfect from the earth. It's beaten, burned, and folded countless times until it can cut through anything. You are that steel. The rejections, the injuries, the moments of despair, they are not meant to break you, but to build you. When the hammer falls, don't flinch. Lean into it. Ask yourself, what is this teaching me? How is this forging my will? The fire hurts, yes, but it also purifies. You are not here to be comfortable. You are here to be unstoppable. Let the flames do their work. Let them temper your soul until nothing can shake you. You are not just surviving life's blows. You are becoming a force of nature. Let's go deeper. Feel the weight of the hammer in your hands. Life doesn't strike lightly. Its blows are heavy, sometimes relentless. A lost job, a broken relationship, a dream deferred. Each hit feels personal, as if the universe conspires against you. But what if the hammer isn't your foe? What if it's your greatest ally? The blacksmith doesn't swing to destroy the iron. He swings to give it purpose. So it is with you. Every challenge you face is a chance to reshape yourself, to carve out a version of you that can withstand any storm. Why do you fear the weight when it's building your strength? Look at nature for a moment. A river doesn't carve a canyon in a day. It grinds against stone for centuries, relentless, until beauty emerges from resistance. You are that river. Hardship is the stone you push against, and though the journey is slow, the result is a masterpiece. When life hits hard, don't ask, why me? Ask, what now? The hammer's weight is your invitation to grow. Will you crumble, or will you stand firm, letting each blow refine your edges? You hold the power to decide. Remember this, the heaviest strikes create the strongest steel. Embrace them. Let them mold you into something the world cannot ignore. When life's forge burns hot and the hammer of hardship falls, how do you stay positive? It starts with a choice. Pause, breathe, don't react in the heat of the moment. Step back and see the struggle for what it is, a chance to grow. First, name the pain. Write it down if you must. I failed this test. I'm injured and scared. Naming it strips away its power to overwhelm you. Then, ask, what can I control right now? Focus there. If it's a rejection, control your next effort. If it's an injury, control your rehab. Small actions rebuild your strength. Next, anchor yourself in a single truth. This is temporary. The fire feels endless, but it isn't. Remind yourself of past struggles you've overcome. You've been here before, and you've emerged. Finally, celebrate the smallest wins. Did you get out of bed despite the pain? That's a victory. Did you try again after a no? That's steel forming. Keep a record of these moments. They are proof of your resilience. When doubt creeps in, look at them. You are not breaking, you are being forged. Stand in the fire. Let it shape you. You are stronger than you know. Hardship often clouds your vision, making positivity feel like a distant shore. But you can reach it with deliberate steps. Start by reframing the struggle. Instead of saying, "This is too hard," say, "This is my forge." Speak it aloud if you must. Words shape your mind. Then, set a micro goal tied to the challenge. If you're facing rejection, commit to one more try. If it's physical pain, aim for one more step in recovery. Break the mountain into pebbles and tackle them one by one. Surround yourself with reminders of your strength. Keep a photo, a quote, or an object that symbolizes a past triumph. Glance at it when the hammer falls. It's your proof that you've endured before. Lastly, rest when needed, but don't retreat. The blacksmith cools the steel to prevent cracking. You too must balance effort with recovery. Take a moment to breathe, to reflect, but always return to the forge. Positivity isn't blind optimism. It's the quiet certainty that you are being shaped for greatness. Keep sharpening your edge. The world waits for the blade you'll become. You've walked through the forge with me, felt the heat of hardship, and heard the hammer's relentless song. In the stories of the student and the athlete, you've seen that pain is not a dead end. It's a doorway to resilience. Through reflection, you've learned that life's strikes are purposeful, crafting an unbreakable will within you. With practical steps, you've armed yourself to stand firm in the fire, to reframe struggle as you're making. The key lesson remains. Hardship is the tool that builds your inner power, tempering you into steel that no force can shatter. As you move forward, carry this truth in your heart. You are not here to be broken by life's challenges, but to be forged by them. Let every blow remind you of your strength. Let every flame ignite your purpose. We've only begun this journey of staying positive when life gets tough. Ahead, there are more lessons, more fires to face. But for now, hold fast to this mantra as your shield and your sword. Stand in the fire, become the steel. Picture this, a barren field under a gray, unrelenting sky. The soil is cracked, dry, and seemingly lifeless. Yet, beneath the surface, a tiny seed presses against the weight of the earth, driven by an invisible force to break through. That seed is you. In the toughest moments of life, when grief cloaks your heart or financial ruin looms like a storm, you might feel buried, forgotten. But here's the truth. You have the power to cultivate hope, to plant small, deliberate acts of positivity that will sustain you through the struggle. This is not about grand gestures or overnight miracles. It's about the quiet, persistent push of a seed against the soil. In this chapter of your journey to stay positive when life gets tough, we dive into planting seeds of hope. You will learn to nurture your spirit with intention, to find light in the smallest cracks, and to trust that even in the harshest conditions, growth is possible. Are you ready to push through the barren ground? Let's begin. Imagine losing someone who was your anchor, a parent, a partner, a friend. The world feels hollow, as if the air itself weighs more than you can bear. Every morning, you wake to a silence that screams their absence. This is where Sarah found herself after her mother passed. The grief was a tide, pulling her under, drowning her in memories she couldn't escape. She stopped laughing, stopped hoping. The days blurred into a gray fog, but one evening, exhausted by the weight of her sorrow, Sarah picked up a worn notebook from her bedside table. She didn't know why. Maybe it was instinct, maybe desperation, but she began to write. At first, it was just a sentence. I miss you today. The next day, another. I remembered your laugh, and it hurt. Slowly, night after night, she poured her pain onto the pages. She wrote about the anger, the guilt, the moments she wished she could redo. But she also started to notice something. She began writing about the good mom too. The way her mother's hands felt when they held hers, the silly songs they'd sing in the car. Through those words, Sarah wasn't just grieving, she was rebuilding. Each entry became a tiny seed planted in the barren soil of her heart. It didn't erase the pain, nothing could, but it gave her a space to process, to breathe. Over weeks, then months, she noticed the fog lifting, just a little. She could smile at a memory without crumbling. Journaling didn't bring her mother back, but it brought Sarah back to herself, like a seed pushing through hard earth. Those small, intentional acts of writing became her lifeline. The lesson here is clear. Even in your deepest sorrow, you can plant something small, a word, a thought, a memory, and watch it grow into a source of strength. You don't need to heal all at once. You just need to start. Now picture this. You've lost your job, and the bills are piling up like bricks on your chest. Every phone call is a creditor. Every email a reminder of what you can't pay. This was Marcus's reality after a sudden layoff. A single father of two, he'd always prided himself on providing, on keeping the lights on. Now, he was rationing groceries, skipping meals so his kids wouldn't notice the strain. Despair was a constant shadow, whispering that he'd failed, that there was no way out. But one night, as he sat at the kitchen table staring at an empty bank statement, Marcus remembered something his grandmother used to say, "Find one good thing. Boy, even when it's hard." He scoffed at first. What good could he find in this mess? But then, he looked across the room at his children sleeping on the couch, safe and unaware of the storm around them. His heart softened. He grabbed a scrap of paper and wrote, "I'm thankful they're here with me." The next day, he wrote another note. "I'm thankful for the neighbor who shared leftovers." The day after, "I'm thankful I can still walk to the library for free books for the kids." It felt forced at first, almost silly, but Marcus kept at it, planting these tiny seeds of gratitude in the cracked soil of his life. Slowly, his perspective shifted. The problems didn't vanish. Creditors still called. The fridge was still sparse, but his mind wasn't consumed by lack anymore. He began to see possibilities, a side gig here, a community resource there. Those small notes became his anchor, reminding him that even in scarcity, there was something to hold on to, like a seed defying barren ground. Marcus's gratitude practice grew roots of resilience. The takeaway for you is this: no matter how empty your hands feel, you can plant a seed of thanks. It won't solve everything, but it will shift your eyes to the light, guiding you forward. Let's pause and reflect. You've felt it, haven't you? The weight of life's storms pressing down, making every step feel like wading through mud. In those moments, it's easy to believe that only a massive shift, a tidal wave of change, can save you. But what if the truth is quieter, subtler? What if your salvation lies in the smallest acts, the tiniest seeds you plant in your own barren soil? Think of a seed. It's not a tree yet, not even a sprout. It's vulnerable, buried under layers of dirt, unseen by the world. Yet within it lies the blueprint for growth, for life. You are that seed. Every small, intentional act of positivity, whether it's writing a single line in a journal or naming one thing you're grateful for, is a declaration of hope. It's you saying, I will not be buried forever. I will rise. How often have you dismissed the small things thinking they're not enough? How many times have you waited for the perfect moment, the grand solution, only to remain stuck in the dark? The reality is this: greatness is not born in a single, dramatic leap. It's forged in the quiet, consistent push against resistance, like a river carving through stone over centuries. Your small acts of positivity erode despair. They create space for light to seep in. Pain is not your end, it's the soil you grow through. Struggle is not your prison, it's the pressure that shapes your strength. So plant your seed today. It doesn't matter if no one sees it. It doesn't matter if the ground feels too hard. Keep pushing. Your breakthrough is closer than you think. Let's go deeper. When you plant a seed, you don't see the work happening beneath the surface. There's no fanfare, no immediate reward. You water it, you wait, and sometimes you wonder if anything is happening at all. This is the essence of cultivating positivity in tough times. You must trust the unseen. You must believe that every kind word you speak to yourself, every moment you choose to focus on a sliver of good, is taking root in ways you cannot yet perceive. Life's hardships are like a long, cold winter. Everything seems dormant, dead even. But beneath the frost, roots are strengthening, preparing for spring. You are not stagnant in your struggle. You are preparing for your season of bloom. Have you ever considered how much of your growth happens in the dark? How many times have you felt stuck, only to look back later and realize those were the moments shaping you most? The seed doesn't question the soil's weight. It simply pushes. It doesn't doubt the darkness. It seeks the light. You must do the same. When grief or hardship buries you, don't resist the dark. Use it. Let it teach you endurance. Let it show you that even when you can't see the progress, you're still moving. Plant your seeds of hope, even if your hands tremble. Water them with intention, even if tears are all you have. Trust that beneath the surface, something is stirring. You are not just surviving, you are becoming. Now let's get practical. You don't need to overhaul your life to stay positive when it gets tough. You just need to start small, with a daily ritual that plants a seed of hope. Here's how. Every evening, take 5 minutes to write down one thing that brought you even a flicker of joy or relief that day. It could be as simple as, the sun felt warm on my face, or I made it through a hard conversation. Use a notebook, a sticky note, or even your phone. Just make it consistent. If writing isn't your thing, speak it aloud to yourself or share it with someone you trust. The act itself matters more than the form. Next, pair this with a moment of intention. After naming that positive thing, close your eyes and breathe deeply for 30 seconds. Picture yourself as that seed, pressing against the soil, drawing strength from this tiny act. Let it remind you that you're not defined by the struggle around you. You're defined by your push against it. If doubt creeps in, and it will, counter it by rereading or recalling your past entries. See how they stack up, like roots spreading beneath the surface. This ritual isn't about ignoring pain. It's about balancing it with light. Start tonight. One sentence, one breath. That's all it takes to begin. Here's another tool to keep you steady. Create a gratitude anchor. When life feels like a storm tearing at your foundation, you need something to hold on to, something tangible that reminds you of the good. No matter how small, take a small object, a stone, a coin, a piece of jewelry, and designate it as your anchor. Each day, hold it in your hand for a moment and name one thing you're thankful for. It could be a person, a memory, or even the fact that you're still standing. Speak it quietly or think it fiercely, but tie that gratitude to the object. Keep it with you, in your pocket, on your desk, by your bed. When despair hits, when the weight of life threatens to bear you, reach for your anchor. Feel its texture, its weight, and recall the gratitude you've planted there. Let it ground you, like a seed finding purchase in rocky soil. This isn't magic. It's a reminder of your agency. You're choosing to focus on a spark of light, even in the dark. If you can't carry an object, anchor your gratitude to a gesture. Touch your wrist, tap your chest, and pair it with the same daily practice. Build this habit over a week, then a month. Watch how it shifts your lens, how it steadies your heart. You have the power to plant these seeds. Use it. As we close this chapter on planting seeds of hope, remember this: life's toughest moments are not your end, they are your soil. You've seen through Sarah's story how journaling can transform grief into a space for healing, and through Marcus's journey how gratitude can reframe even the starkest hardship. You've reflected on the quiet power of small beginnings and the unseen growth happening beneath your struggles. And you've armed yourself with simple, actionable steps, daily rituals and gratitude anchors, to cultivate positivity when the ground feels barren. The key lesson here is that even the smallest, most intentional acts of hope can sustain you through life's storms. Just as a seed defies the weight of the earth to reach for the sun, you don't need to see the full tree today. You don't need to feel unbreakable right now. All you need is to plant one seed, to take one deliberate step toward light. Trust the process. Keep nurturing your spirit with these small acts, and you'll find yourself stronger, more rooted than you ever imagined. As we move forward, we'll build on this foundation, exploring how to protect these tender shoots of hope from the winds of doubt. For now, hold this truth close. Repeat it like a heartbeat. Plant your seed. Push through the dark. Your light is coming. Picture yourself at the base of a towering, jagged peak. The wind howls, biting at your skin, and the summit looms impossibly high, shrouded in mist and uncertainty. Your legs tremble from the climb already endured, and every scar on your hands tells a story of struggle. Yet, here you are. Why? Because something in you refuses to turn back. Something in you knows that the pain of this ascent is not your end. It's your forging. In the journey of life, when the storms rage and the ground beneath you crumbles, staying positive isn't about ignoring the hurt. It's about transforming that pain into purpose. It's about celebrating the triumph of enduring, of standing tall when every fiber of your being screams to fall. Welcome to the climb of your life, where each step upward, no matter how agonizing, carves the path to your greatest victory. Let's rise to the summit together, you and I, and uncover the strength that waits at the peak. Imagine this. You've built a life you're proud of, a career that fuels you, a home filled with warmth, a rhythm that feels like yours. Then, in an instant, it's gone. A sudden layoff strips away your title. A diagnosis shakes your foundation, or a betrayal leaves you hollow, questioning everything you thought you knew. This is your jagged peak, and you're clinging to a crumbling ledge. You're like Anna, a woman who once owned a thriving small business, a bakery that was the heartbeat of her town. Overnight, a fire reduced it to ash. Her savings vanished, her confidence shattered, and her days became a blur of what now? She could have walked away, let the ashes bury her dreams. But Anna didn't. She stood amidst the ruin, hands blackened with soot, and saw not an end, but a beginning. Anna started small, baking in her kitchen, selling at local markets. Each loaf she kneaded was an act of defiance against despair. She cried some nights, yes, but she rose each morning. Slowly, customers returned, drawn by her resilience as much as her bread. She rebuilt, not just her bakery, but her belief in herself. Years later, standing in her new shop, she realized the fire hadn't destroyed her. It had refined her. Like a climber gripping the next rocky hold, Anna transformed her pain into purpose. She didn't just endure, she triumphed. And so can you. When life burns your plans to the ground, don't stare at the ashes. Look up, see the summit. Your setback is not your story's end. It's the chapter where you learn to rise. Now picture a community struck by disaster. A flood tears through a small village, leaving homes underwater, streets silent, and families displaced. The loss is staggering. Possessions gone, memories drowned, hope teetering on the edge. Yet, in the midst of this chaos, something extraordinary happens. Strangers become allies. Neighbors who once barely nodded now share meals, rebuild walls, and hold each other through the long, cold nights. This is the jagged peak of collective struggle, where every soul is a climber, tethered together by an unspoken vow to reach the top as one. Think of a place like Riverbend, a tight-knit town hit by a devastating storm. When the waters receded, the damage was raw, roofs collapsed, livelihoods swept away, but the people of Riverbend didn't scatter in defeat. They gathered. They formed teams to clear debris, shared what little food they had, and turned a school gym into a shelter where laughter slowly returned. Old grudges dissolved as hands worked side by side. A carpenter named Miguel, who'd lost his workshop, found purpose teaching others to rebuild. A teacher, Lila, organized story hours for children to ease their fears. Together, they didn't just restore their town, they forged a bond stronger than any storm. Their climb wasn't easy, it was grueling. But at the summit, they stood united, a testament to endurance. You see, pain can break us apart, or it can weld us together. When life floods your world, reach out, climb with others. Your triumph isn't just yours, it's ours. Let's pause on this ascent and look at the weight you carry. Pain. It's the sharp edge of the rock cutting into your palm, the ache in your chest that won't relent. You felt it. Loss, failure, rejection. It stings like a winter gale on this jagged peak. But what if pain isn't your enemy? What if it's your chisel, shaping you into something unbreakable? Too often, we see hardship as a wall, a barrier to happiness. We curse it, dodge it, numb it. Yet, consider this. A diamond doesn't form in comfort. It's born under crushing pressure. A blade isn't sharp until it's ground against stone. So why do you fear the grind? Why do you shrink from the pressure? Pain is not here to destroy you. It's here to define you. Every tear you've shed, every night you've wrestled with doubt, is carving away the excess, revealing the core of who you are. On this climb, each stumble teaches you balance. Each scar maps your courage. You're not just surviving, you're being sculpted into a force. Look at your hands, rough from the struggle. They're not weak, they're ready. So, embrace the hurt. Let it shape you. Ask yourself, what is this pain teaching me right now? How is it preparing me for the summit? Stand firm on this ledge. The view from the top will show you that every wound was worth it. There's a quiet power in enduring, isn't there? It's not loud like a victory shout or bright like a sudden breakthrough. It's the steady heartbeat of a climber who refuses to let go, even when the wind roars and the path vanishes. Endurance is your rope on this jagged peak, the thread that keeps you tethered to hope when all seems lost. We live in a world that glorifies the quick win, the instant fix, but true triumph isn't found in speed. It's forged in persistence. It's in the choice to take one more step when your strength is gone. It's in the resolve to stand after you've fallen 100 times. Have you ever considered how many summits you've already reached, simply by not giving up? Endurance is a celebration in itself. It's proof that you're stronger than the storm, taller than the obstacles, deeper than the doubts that claw at your mind. Like a river carving through stone, your persistence reshapes the impossible into the inevitable. You don't need to sprint to the top. You just need to keep moving. Each inch forward is a victory. Each breath drawn in defiance of despair is a crown. So, honor your endurance. Revel in it. Ask yourself, how many times have I stood when I thought I couldn't? Let that answer fuel you. The summit isn't just a destination, it's a monument to your unyielding spirit. When pain strikes, it's easy to freeze on this climb, to let the weight of it pin you to the rock. But you have a choice. You can let it crush you, or you can turn it into fuel. Here's how to start. First, feel it. Don't run from the ache, sit with it. Name it. Is it grief, fear, anger? Write it down if you must. Acknowledge its presence, like a climber noting a storm on the horizon. Then, ask one question: what can this teach me? Maybe a failure shows you a skill to master. Maybe a loss reveals who truly matters. Look for the lesson hidden in the hurt. Next, channel it. Take that raw energy and direct it toward a purpose. If you're angry, use it to build something, a project, a plan, a promise to yourself. If you're grieving, create in honor of what's gone, a journal, a tribute, a new goal. Finally, set a small step. Pain can paralyze. So move in tiny ways. Write one sentence, walk one block, make one call. Each action is a grip on the rock, pulling you upward. You're not ignoring the pain, you're transforming it. Keep a record of these steps. Look back in a month. You'll see how far you've climbed. Pain isn't your stop, it's your starting line. Endurance is a long climb, and the summit can feel endless miles away. That's why you must celebrate the small victories, each foothold, each ledge you conquer. Here's how to make this real. First, redefine triumph. It's not just reaching the top, it's showing up today. Did you get out of bed despite the weight on your chest? That's a win. Did you smile, even briefly, in a day of gray? That's a win. Mark these moments. Keep a notebook or a jar. Write down one thing each day you endured, no matter how small. I spoke up. I tried again. I didn't quit. These are your flags planted on the mountain. Second, share your progress. Tell a friend, a family member, or even yourself in the mirror. Speak your victories aloud. I made it through today. Hearing it solidifies it. Finally, reward yourself, not with grand gestures, but with quiet nods to your strength. A favorite song, a moment of rest, a deep breath under the open sky. These celebrations tether you to hope. They remind you that endurance isn't just survival, it's triumph. So in a pause on this climb, look down at the path you've carved. See how far you've come. Every step is a reason to stand taller. Keep climbing. Your summit is waiting. As we near the end of this ascent, let's stand together on this jagged ledge and take in the view. You've seen how pain can be your chisel, carving purpose from the raw stone of struggle. You've felt the quiet triumph of enduring, each step a testament to your unbreakable will. Through stories of rebuilding and unity, through reflections on hardship and persistence, you've learned that staying positive when life gets tough isn't about pretending the climb is easy. It's about embracing the grind, finding meaning in the ache, and celebrating every inch gained. The key lesson here is clear. Pain is not your prison. It's your pathway to purpose, and endurance is your greatest victory. The summit is close now, but the journey doesn't end. There are more peaks ahead, more storms to weather, yet you're ready. You've forged strength in the fire of adversity, and you've tethered yourself to hope with every stubborn step. Carry this with you as we prepare to face what's next. Remember, you're not just a climber, you're a conqueror. So, grip the rock, lift your gaze, and repeat this to yourself, again and again, until it echoes in your bones. Rise relentless. Your summit